How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 30 Teams in 30 Days series, where I play a 2K online ranked game with a team and talk about them over that gameplay. So this is going to be the 7th episode, so I'm going to be talking about the Memphis Grizzlies today, and I will be playing against the Sacramento Kings. This gameplay is going to be really interesting and really entertaining, and I hope you guys will enjoy this gameplay as much as I enjoyed playing it. So like I said, we're talking about the Memphis Grizzlies today, who happened to go 55-27 last year during the regular season, which happened to give them the 5th seed in the West. They ended up losing to the Golden State Warriors in the second round of the playoffs, so kind of a disappointing season, disappointing end, but you know, they're back this year. They kept most of their core, and they picked up a few solid pieces, and I think this year they could go a lot further in the playoffs. So the Memphis Grizzlies the past couple of years have been a really interesting team just because they don't have necessarily a superstar, they just have a really talented core, and they just managed to somehow grind their way to wins and beat really good playoff teams, you know, like the Spurs a couple years ago. They almost beat the Thunder a couple of years ago, or they beat the Spurs many years ago. I think it was like 4, and then they almost beat the Thunder in 2013, I think, but I digress. So, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies, what's to say about them? They're just a really hardworking team, and they don't have a lot of offense, but they really pride themselves on their defense. So let's talk a little bit more about them, because I feel like I'm going on a random tangent. So their coach is Dave Yeager, who has been there for a couple years. I think this might be his 3rd year. He's provided a really good, you know, foundation for this core to be built on, a really good identity, and he's been a really good replacement ever since Lionel Hollins got fired a couple years ago. So key players include Defensive Player of the Year Marc Gasol. No, not that Marc Gasol. Not that Marc Gasol either. Can we get a good picture of Marc Gasol here? Thank you. So we have Marc Gasol. We also have Zach Randolph. God, what are with all these bad pictures of these players today? Can we get a good picture of Zach Randolph too? Thank you, thank you. So we have Zach Randolph, we have Marc Gasol, we have Tony Allen, the grind father, who may be one of the most craziest players in the league. I mean, I would genuinely be scared of this guy if I was faced to fight him. I mean, that being said, I'd probably be scared of any NBA player if I was forced to fight them. But, you know, Tony Allen really is a madman on the court, and it really shows through his play, but he's a really good player regardless, so I guess it's well warranted. And finally, we have Mike Conley, who's just Mike Conley. Kind of a boring guy, doesn't have really any of the unique features that the other players have, but very solid player, very good two-way guard, one of the most underrated players in today's game. So their core, like I said, is very talented. They've been around for a couple of years, and you know, even though here and there, Marc Gasol was a free agent this past offseason, Zach Randolph was a free agent the past offseason, they managed to stick their core together, and you know, as long as the 4 are together, you know, you really can't count the Grizzlies out of contention. So I mean, they just build pieces around them, and they all have the same tough, you know, defensive mindset that the Grizzlies pride themselves on. So as for offseason moves they made this past offseason, they signed Brandan Wright, who manages to have the record for the biggest ears in the NBA. I mean, seriously, this guy has humongous ears, like so odd, like disproportionate to his face, but really solid player, really good big man, highly efficient in his time at Dallas, and he knows what his strengths are, and he really plays to those strengths. They also traded for Matt Barnes, who really, whenever I think of Memphis Grizzlies, I think of a player like Matt Barnes, just tough, you know, doesn't take anything. It's just a really good, it just seems like the perfect fit for the Grizzlies, and you know, it finally took them this many years to get Matt Barnes, but I feel like he's going to be a very solid contributor to the Memphis Grizzlies team, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, these offseason pickups, they weren't big names, they weren't, you know, really huge signings, but they really fit into the scheme of the offense, they really fit into the scheme of the team, and I feel like they'll have a really big impact, both Matt Barnes and Brandan Wright. So the X factor for this team, how much offense are they going to get from their players? You have really good talented players such as Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Mike Conley, Jeff Green, who can create their own offense, but Memphis Grizzlies always end up lacking on the offensive offensive side. It's what's really hurt them the past couple of years. It's what's made them not advance that far into the playoffs. And until they can find some kind of offense, some kind of stable offense from their players, I don't think they can go all the way. But if they manage to build their offense this year, find a go-to guy, you know, that can create his own shot, that'll be consistent, a la Kevin Durant, LeBron. I mean, obviously not to that extent, but they do manage to find a player like that that can step up and, you know, really make an impact on offense. I can definitely see them going as far as they want, because their defense will definitely always be there for them. But as long as they have offense, if they don't have offense, they just don't get far. It's just as simple as that. I think more than anything, the Grizzlies just really need to find an offensive contributor, and if their health stays up, you know, obviously that's a huge part of it too. And if their newly acquired players, if Matt Barnes and Brandan Wright can fit into their system, I can see them doing very well. But I think the biggest thing is really the offense. As long as they can find some offense, they'll be good to go. So my prediction is a second round exit once again for the second or third year in a row. Unfortunately, I just don't see someone taking that extra leap. And until I do, I am ready to get proven wrong for this prediction. But I just see the Memphis Grizzlies exiting the playoffs again early. So that is it for the Memphis Grizzlies. That is the seventh episode. Next episode we will be talking about the Atlanta Hawks. So I hope you guys will stick around and watch that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a really good day. I'll talk to you guys later.